Hard Choices: How I Decided to Publish Another Book and Risk Losing My Family Again. Before I share today's post, I want to invite you to join me for a free 2-hour writing workshop just a couple of weeks from now. It's called Flourishing as We Age, a free online writing workshop. It'll be on the 18th of April. And if you can't attend live, it will be recorded. And I will put the link for how to sign up for this free class in the show notes. Now here's today's post. And it starts with an image of me wearing a turquoise sweater, signing books, my memoir, Burning Light of Two Stars, at Bookshop Santa Cruz, wearing a mask. This was during the pandemic. So I'm masked and signing a big stack of books, and that's the illustration for this post. In the lead up to my publication of my award-winning 2021 memoir, In the lead up to the publication of my award-winning 2021 memoir, The Burning Light of Two Stars, I worked hard to place personal essays in prominent magazines and journals. This piece, initially published in Publishers Weekly, addresses a common fear memoir writers face when choosing to publish a story that reveals family secrets. It's a subject that comes up in every memoir class I teach. How will my family react? This question loomed large for me as I weighed whether to publish The Burning Light of Two Stars, which tells the story of my lifelong, tumultuous relationship with my mother, Temi Davis. Here's what I had to say. When Ellen Bass and I published The Courage to Heal, a book that helped launch the incest survivor empowerment movement, it was 1988 and I was 31 years old. I was shocked when the book became a grassroots bestseller, catapulting me to fame for the worst thing that had ever happened to me. During the years Ellen and I were writing the book, I was terrified about how my family would react. My fears were justified. When I outed my grandfather as my perpetrator, my already volatile relationship with my mother exploded, and I became estranged from her side of the family. Holidays and Mother's Day became painful reminders of the price I'd paid for writing the truth. But my fierce, dramatic mother and I shared something in common, a stubborn insistence on working our way back into each other's lives. It took years, but we ultimately succeeded, in part by agreeing to disagree about the hot-button issue that had driven us apart. Grandchildren helped bring us together, and I rewove threads of connection with estranged relatives. I wrote books about other things. Over the next 2 decades, I built a career as a writing teacher, and my own writing faded into the shadows. I never stopped writing, but I didn't publish. To keep the peace, I had to avoid writing and publishing about the subjects closest to my heart. I didn't want to lose my family again. Yet the epic story of my mother and me still thrummed inside. When the reconciliation I thought we'd achieved was challenged a dozen years later by her sudden announcement that she was moving across the country to my town for the rest of her life, I was faced with caring for an 80-year-old woman whose developing dementia pushed every button I had. Could I possibly rise to the challenge of becoming the daughter she needed me to be? Millions of people are in this position, caring for parents who in one way or another betrayed them. This story needed to be told. So, as I sat with my mother in doctor's offices and hospital rooms, as we played 500 rummy in her tidy mobile home, I scrawled bits of dialogue on random scraps of paper. Late at night, I wrote the truth about being a caregiver for a parent whose proximity had never equaled safety. As the pages piled up, I told myself, I'm just writing this for myself. I don't have to publish it. That was the safe container I had to create for myself, because lurking on the edge of my consciousness were the relatives who'd rejected me the first time I'd entered this territory. How could I tell our mother-daughter story without once again writing about the sexual abuse, the conflict that had sundered us the most? It wasn't until my mother and the rest of her generation died that I seriously considered publishing The Burning Light of Two Stars. Deciding to put it out into the world required agonizing soul-searching. I was no longer that young woman whose attitude was, fuck them, I'm telling the truth and they're in denial. Now, 33 years later, I cared about the relationships I'd rebuilt. I recognized how hard it is, as a private person, to have a writer in the family, especially one who repeatedly dredges up the past. My immediate family members, those depicted in my memoir, gave me their permission and blessings. But I knew my choice to publish would bring distress to a small pod of extended family related to my long-dead grandfather. I knew I might lose them forever. After wrestling with this dilemma for years, I chose to publish, to become an author again. The day I signed the book contract, I sat down and wrote my relatives a letter, informing them about the burning light of two stars and apologizing for the impact it would have on their lives. In the months since then, I've gotten an angry reply from one cousin. A second asked, Laura, when are you going to be done writing about this? A third said calmly, I don't ever want you to talk to me about this again. And I agreed. There has been silence from everyone else. Now, in the exciting days leading up to the launch of my first book in 19 years, my joy is tempered. I have made my choice, and in offering this story to the unknown readers with whom my journey may deeply resonate, I must accept that I may also be hurting people I love. For that, I will always be sorry. This essay was first published in Soapbox, Publishers Weekly, August 9th, 2021. And now, just for you, my readers on Substack, here's a copy of the letter I sent to my family. It's dated February 24th, 2021. Dear family, as we round the bend into year 2 of the pandemic and impeachment and continued lockdowns, I hope this finds you as well as could be managed under the circumstances. I'm writing to let you know that I've written a new book that will be published next October by Girl Friday Books. It's a memoir, The Burning Light of Two Stars, and it tells the story of my relationship with Temi from my birth until her death. It traces our relationship through our estrangement and reconciliation, all 57 years of it until she died. It's an intimate, personal book in which I tell our story from my perspective. The memories in the book are mine and mine alone, although I've included some of Temi's letters. Unlike the tribute books I created for Temi's 80th birthday, this book shows both of us at our best and at our worst, depicting us as two loving, flawed people trying to find our way back to each other. In the course of the story, I revisit a subject that has caused conflict in our family in the past, the sexual abuse I experienced with Morris Ross. It is not the primary focus of the book, but it is a critical thread in the story, as it was a major influence in my relationship with Temi. I realize that my decision to revisit this story publicly may be difficult for some of you, bringing back feelings that we've put to rest for several decades now. This is not a choice I made lightly. I deeply value the healing we've been able to achieve in recent decades and the family connection we have enjoyed and shared. I respect and love you, and I'm sorry that some of you may be hurt by my choices. For many years, I tried to avoid writing about painful family topics, but since Temmie's death, I've felt increasingly compelled to tell this story. During the years I was writing it, I didn't know if it would become a book. It was a difficult process, and I didn't know if I'd complete it or publish it. But now that it's become a reality, I wanted to let you know. Closer to the time of publication, there will be galleys of the finished book available, and if any of you would prefer a chance to read it before it's published, I will send you a copy. I'd be happy to talk to you about the book and any feelings you may have about my choice to publish it, now or at any point in the future. The last time I wrote about my grandfather, it took some of us more than a decade to find our way back to each other. I truly hope that's not the case this time. We don't have that much time, and I don't want to lose you. While I may not make choices regarding my writing that you would prefer, please know that I struggle with these decisions and try to balance my genuine love and respect for my family with my own identity as a storyteller and writer. Love, Laura. This is followed by a little quote from a reader of The Burning Light of Two Stars, who said, "I did not want it to end. Laura Davis, with her brilliant voice and creative writing style, is a class act. You will laugh, you will cry, you will dream about this book, and it will stay with you long after you read the last page. I promise you, it will touch your soul in the best kind of way." There will be information about how to order the book in the show notes. And remember, every time you click the heart, leave a comment, or share a post, you're making it easier for new readers and listeners to discover the writer's journey. I'll be back with another Pause for Peace on Wednesday and a new post, a special one actually, next Saturday. Thanks for listening.